Howdy. Today I will be analyzing the lyrics of Chandelier, a song that is performed by a lampshade/wig that is disembodied, whose name I'm not really sure how to pronounce. It could be Sia, could be Shia, could be Saya, or some variation thereof. I really don't know, don't necessarily care, because it's not necessary for me to analyze these lyrics. I will say before getting started that this song intrigues me in that every single cover I've heard of it is like a million times better than the original. Like, way, way better. I mean, this chick, which that's how I'm going to refer to this lampshade wig, I don't know. It has some really, really weird moments. The first time I heard this song, I actually thought it was by Rihanna. But then when we get down to the part where she says, "I'm," and then she stretches out the I, she sings the way Ric Flair talks. And, it's almost like her vocal cords blew out and she just decided to keep on going, keep on trucking. And, I mean, good for her. Good for her for being persistent and positive, which actually is in the song. But, I don't know. I think you could have gotten somebody else to sing this. Just my thoughts. Anyway, it starts out, "Party girls don't get hurt." And some people think this is the first line of the song. Actually, what it is it's her way of pumping herself up, hyping herself up, getting herself fired up, because this is actually her battle cry. Something akin to Spoon or Avengers Assemble. This is where it actually starts. She says, in this introspective line, "Can't feel anything, when will I learn?" Which, honestly, this isn't surprising, because lampshades and wigs aren't known for their ability to interpret haptic input or store data. So I don't know, Shia. I'm not really sure how you would ever learn or feel. But, yeah. I push it down. I like this line. Because she made it a very clear point here to not only demonstrate that she is in compliance with the directives of Salt and Pepper, but she is in a very specific way complying. She is pushing it down, as opposed to just in general, to the limit, or just pushing it. It's a very, very specific way that she's pushing it. Of course, this could also be a reference to Fatboy Slim, and it could be the tempo that she's pushing down. I don't really know. I don't know how lampshade wigs think. I don't really understand their logic, because I'm a man, not a lampshade wig woman. But interesting. Well, not really. You may not find it interesting. I find it interesting. There's a side note here. I've always wondered, in that song, "Push It," there's a line that says, "Salt and Pepper's here, and we're in effect." And I always think about Magic the Gathering when I hear that line. And I wonder if that's kind of like an Easter egg, even though the song predates the game. I just wonder if maybe it's like an Easter egg. They're saying, "Oh yeah, we play Magic the Gathering. That's what we do for fun. That's how we recreate." But I don't know. It's just it's very interesting. Or it could be an allusion to a future expansion of Magic the Gathering, in which Salt and Pepper is like a permanent or some sort of an enchantment. And when Salt and Pepper are here and in effect, you can lay down a token for, a swamp and a plains. And maybe, like, if you don't use them by the end of your second main phase, you have to discard them. I mean, that makes sense. It seems logical to me. But, I don't know. We'll leave that one up to Wizards of the Coast. And in the next line, she says what I think is actually the beginning of a very different song. I think that this song was supposed to be about how, so it starts out saying, "I'm the one." And so I think that at this point, it was supposed to branch out to how she is the one which has been prophesied for like billions of years, since before the beginning of time, since the previous multiverse, before it imploded. And she's supposed to be like this disruptive force in the world of lampshades and wigs that are disembodied. But while she was writing these lyrics and, elaborating on her mythos. She got distracted because she was in a bathroom stall and the wall read, "For a good time, call." And she thought, yeah, I want a good time. I want to enjoy myself. I like to party. And she started to write down "for a good time, call," and then write the name and then the number, because, I mean, this wig lampshade was down to play some Street Fighter or watch some WrestleMania, because that is most definitively a good time. And she realized that if she left the contact information and the name in the lyrical content, that suddenly she could monopolize this person for the good time that they could provide with their wrestling pay-per-views and their video games. So she erased it, and then of course by the time that she thought about what to do and what she was taking out, everything about her mythos, it was gone. It was because, you know, she's a wig lampshade that can't store data. So then she just started to extemporaneously make up the rest of the song. And she goes on to say, "Phone's blowing up, ringing my doorbell." Which is interesting, because this means that this phone of hers is defective. It's exploding, and the pressure wave is ringing the doorbell. And then she goes on to say, "I feel the love, feel the love." But what I really think is happening is that it's a misinterpretation. I think what she's actually feeling is herself being ablaze because her phone blew up. And then she goes on to kind of back up my theory here by saying 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, drink. And again, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, drink, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, drink. And then she gets back into some lyrical content. And so what I think happened here is that because she was ablaze, her logic unit had to reboot. And so this 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, drink is kind of her. It's like a test for her memory. Make sure none of the modules are corrupted. And so she's running through 3 cycles of this memory test, and she says throw them back till I lose count. So she's throwing back these memory cycles, these memory test cycles, because the more they're behind her, the more confident she can be that the modules aren't damaged or corrupted. And then she says, "I'm going to swing from the chandelier." From the chandelier. Kind of random. I don't know why a wig lampshade would be dancing on a chandelier, but that's what she wants to do. From another chandelier. And then she says, "I'm going to live like tomorrow doesn't exist." But, you know, in practice and theory, tomorrow actually doesn't exist. So what does she normally live like? And then she puts in her rebuttal and says, "like it doesn't exist." And to that I just have to say, SRSLY. The future is in fact now. Like in every evolving second. Like this right here, that's the future. Or it was the future. And this is the future. And this is the future. And so on and so forth. Until we're all dead. But even when we're dead, time doesn't stop. It continues to be. Not really. Not really. I'm of the belief that time doesn't really exist in the sense that we describe it. Just because if we're not here to keep track of it, how does it persist? You know? I think that there is a thing that in the natural world overlaps with our concept of time, but isn't decisively what we call time or describe as time. Anyway, I'm going to fly like a bird through the night, feel my tears as they dry. So I'm not sure if she's saying that she will be feeling her tears, because earlier she said she couldn't feel, although she did feel herself being ablaze. Or if this is a directive for us to feel her tears as they dry. Because maybe secretly she is an environmentalist, and she wants us all to have a better understanding of water conservation and the water cycle itself. It's very possible. And she just says, again, "I'm going to swing from the chandelier, from the chandelier." And she says, I'm holding on for dear life. Won't look down, won't open my eyes." Which I don't really understand. What are you holding on to? I thought you were flying like an emo bird through the night. And then I realized that what she's holding on to is the chandelier. This chick, this wig lampshade is flying through the air like an emo bird with a chandelier in her grip. I presume that this chandelier is some sort of security blanket, or maybe it's like her oldest friend. I don't know, but they're running away together. You know, they've decided to abscond to, I don't know. But yeah, she's holding on for dear life, won't look down, won't open her eyes. And then this is what I was talking about earlier about the positivity. She says, keep my glass full until morning light, because I'm just holding on for tonight. So long as she can interpret the full glass as being such, as being full, so long as she can remain positive until morning light, it's all going to be okay. It's going to be totally fine. Because by the time the day comes, everything will be different. The sun will be shining on her. And somehow, some way, through magical thinking, all the bad will be gone. It'll evaporate, like her tears. But yeah. And she says, help me. I'm holding on for dear life. Won't look down. Won't open my eyes. So she wants us to help her stay positive. She wants us to help her keep seeing this glass as being full of something. Anything. It's just so long as she doesn't start thinking that it's empty or half empty or anything like that. As long as it's full of something. If it is out of the liquid that was filling it, then it is now full of empty space. But it must remain full in every possible interpretation or variation. And that's how she's going to stay positive and get through the night. So this has been my analysis of Chandelier. I hope you liked it, and if you didn't, too bad. I don't really care. I will say that this is kind of a rough draft. I'm thinking about redoing all of my lyrical analyses and putting them back out there. But I don't know. We'll see. All right, later.